Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'akol niyeh bidvaro. The Bible tells us the story of Moses, the savior of the Jewish people, actually grew up in the palace of Pharaoh because the daughter of the Pharaoh saved him when he was a baby. He was placed in some kind of crib navigating the Nile River, and she saved him. She heard him cry. But he grew up in the palace of Pharaoh. But he knew he was Jewish. Why? Because his older sister had told Pharaoh's daughter, you know somebody, I know somebody who can actually give milk to drink to this baby. A Hebrew woman, actually was the mother that actually gave him that during his formative years. So he knew he was Jewish. He was saved by Pharaoh's daughter. When he was already a young man, he went out to see how his brethren, the Jews, are doing, the Hebrews of that time. And he saw, it says the Torah, Vayar ish Mitzri, an Egyptian man, Makeh ish Ivri, was hitting a Hebrew man, Vayar ki einish, and he saw there was no man, Vehika et Hamitzri. And he went and hit the Egyptian. He actually killed the Egyptian. This is what our rabbis say. So my teacher, Rabbi Soloveitchik, says, what is this Ish Mitzri, an Egyptian man, Ish Ivri, an Egyptian, a Hebrew man, Vayar ki einish, and he saw there is no man, and then he did what he had to do. Why is there repetition of this word Ish Mitzri? Why doesn't it say simply he saw an Egyptian hitting a Hebrew, and he saw there was nobody around, so he did what he had to do? So he says, you know what? Maybe in the Egyptian society, there are also those that consider themselves, first of all, I'm a human being. I'm also an Egyptian, but I'm a human being. Among the Hebrews, first I'm a human being. I happen to be a Hebrew, but there's something that we have in common. We are both human beings. This was an enlightened Egyptian, an enlightened Hebrew. Then it says, notwithstanding the fact that they were enlightened, the Egyptians was trying to kill the Jew. He was hitting him. So Soloveitchik says, Vayar ki einish. Moshe realized this business of human being, that isn't so. This one is an Egyptian, that's what he is. Vayachet HaMitzri, and he hit the Egyptian because this Ish is not found really. This is just superfluous. This is just an appearance. But deep down he is an Egyptian and he is a Hebrew. Many a time we get confused, We think, we have many things in common, and we forget that the deeper thoughts, the deeper part of our personality is something else. And this is what maybe in many countries where there was anti-Semitism, where Jews, after living many years, thought we're the same as everybody else. We're all human beings. As Carlebach, the very famous Shlomo Carlebach, on one occasion said, when he is in a college, and he asks people, what are you? He says, well, I'm this. And somebody says, I'm just a human being. He says, that's a Jew, because he's trying to hide what he really is. What he really is, this business, Ish Mitzri, that he is a human being who happens to be Egyptian. I am a human being that happens to be Hebrew, is not really true. Deep down, each and every one of us has his own personality, his own tradition, his own. So what is the conclusion that we can gather from all this? Don't let yourself be fooled by nomenclature, by words. Don't let yourself be fooled by superficialities. Remember very well what is the most. Then he says, Achen, the following day, Moses goes out and he sees how two Hebrews are fighting among themselves. So he tries to separate them. So they say, hey, just a moment. Who made you Lord over us? Who are the judge? Do you think you're going to do the same to us that you did to the Egyptian yesterday? So Moses says, Achen noda hadavar. Well, the thing is now known. So my rabbi says, Rabbi Soloveitchik says, Doesn't mean achen noda davar. Now it is known what? That I killed the Egyptian, what was done? No. He says, now you know why there is slavery. Because the Hebrews are fighting among themselves. And even one of them went and told the court of what I did. They cooperate with the government. They fight among themselves. Therefore, these people are not going to be saved because they're fighting among themselves. Many are saying, maybe this is what is going on right now in Venezuela. The opposition is fighting among itself instead of fighting against the regime that is oppressing. And some are even cooperating. Maybe, who knows? It says in the Torah that Moses then left for many years because he felt these people have no salvation. But then he saw a tremendous apparition. He saw a bush that wasn't being consumed. And he came close and he saw that inside there is a flame, except that the flame does not go to the surface. And maybe the lesson was, you are judging people erroneously, because in the heart of every person there is really a desire for freedom, a desire for equality. Sometimes it can't come to the surface, but there is some kind of flame inside of every human being. And that is when Moses went back to Egypt in order to save the Jewish people from slavery. So maybe we all should take a few steps backwards. If we think that the situation has no solution, remember there's a flame inside of every human being that desires freedom, that desires justice, that desires equality. And if we let that go to the surface, then salvation will come for everyone.